Hi everyone, welcome back to Healthy with Nicole. I'm Nicole Carter and I'm here to help you improve your gut health no matter where you are now. So I had ulcerative colitis and for 7 years could not figure out what to do with it, how to get it better, nothing helped, no diet, no medicine. Yeah, it was just kind of impossible. And doctors told me that I was never going to be able to heal it. It was a permanent life sentence to ulcerative colitis, and really that the only option is to take medication forever and try not to lose my colon. Well, that didn't work out that way because 7 years after I was diagnosed, I became symptom-free, and now it's been another 7 years since I've had that illness symptom-free still. So a lot of people think that we should be eating a lot of vegetables and that the plant-based diet is the way to go for healing inflammatory bowel disease. In fact, if you look it up, I think it's the CDC, and you find some other governmental bodies that will suggest plant-based diet. And I've learned some things recently that have made me change my mind a little bit on the plant-based diet. And really it's because if you've read any of my books, the carnivore diet is what I initially used to heal my body. And then after 2.5 years of that, I started to develop all kinds of problems. And so for that reason, now when I coach people, I don't coach them through a strict carnivore diet to get their results. And still everyone is getting better. So I don't think you have to do the carnivore diet, but I also don't think a plant-based diet is going to work. And I'll tell you why. Most of the plant-based diets that I'm seeing people do are based on vegetables for the most part, and nuts and seeds and legumes. And if you've watched any of my videos, you know that almost all of those things are a problem for people. Nobody that I've worked with have been able to eat any of those foods successfully. And so what I am suggesting is that we look at a different way of eating from a plant-based diet. So can you do it without eating vegetables? That's the big question. And can you do it without eating dairy products or animal products? That is probably not going to work, because if you take all of the vegetables out of your diet and you focus on fruits, you'll do pretty well on that, but you're going to be lacking in B12 and calcium and protein. So what I have found is that if you just take out all of the vegetables and then have fruit as the substance of your diet and adding perhaps milk or a little bit of animal protein, or none, you can get it all through milk, that you do meet all of your nutritional requirements. I've been kind of experimenting with that myself, and there are some fruits that we probably shouldn't eat if you have ulcerative colitis, and I'll get to that in a minute. But what I think is really important is that the focus should be on reducing foods that are irritants. And I've had a lot of people calling me lately wanting help, and they are on a plant-based diet already, but what I find, and I think this was my problem years ago, was that they are eating a lot of vegetables, and a lot of times raw vegetables. And those are super hard to digest. They are really hard for your body and hard on your gut. And even people that don't have digestive problems, I think, do have issues with gas and bloating as a sign that, we don't digest that stuff. We are not animals. Ruminant animals have a second stomach called a rumen that they can digest those kind of fibers, but we don't. So I think you can do somewhat of a plant-based diet if you focus on milk and fruit and some starch. And there are some fruits that are probably going to be best avoided by people with gut issues. And that would be like apples. Apples have a chemical in them that increases gas anyway, so probably best to avoid apples unless you peel and cook them. And that could work. Same with pears. Pears seem to be a little easier to digest, but still cooking and peeling, that helps a lot. Also, foods like berries that have a lot of seeds in them, definitely blackberries, I would not do that. Those foods can be problematic, especially if you're already inflamed or for people that have had a history of diverticulitis. You want to avoid seeds for sure. And then there are things that are really acidic, like pineapple. Pineapple can bother people just because of the acid, and you'll know because the juice alone will bother your stomach, but also the fruit. So I still am not able to digest pineapple very well, so I don't recommend that one for people, but the juice is a hit and miss. And then lastly, I would say the the fruit that probably gave me the most trouble was oranges, and not the juice, because I drink orange juice all the time, but the actual inside of the orange, where the peel and the pith and all that and the fibrous part, that is the part that gave me trouble a long time ago, and I thought still, but even recently I've been able to eat those. So I think your gut can heal to a point where you can tolerate certain amount of fiber, but for the time being, if you're having symptoms and if you're having problems, cut out the vegetables. They are not necessary. You can get plenty of nutrients from all the other foods as long as you eat a variety of food. And this is why I also recommend milk, because you get lots of minerals and nutrition in milk. Your calcium and your B vitamins are in there. So you should be good. If you wanted to try a plant-based diet, I would suggest going the route of fruit, milk, rice, something like that, or potatoes. And you should be able to get everything you need and eat enough and feel good that way without stomach distress. But just always watch out for the peels, the fiber, seeds. Those things always cause people trouble, even if they don't have ulcerative colitis. So if you like that video, give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments what foods are working for you, what fruit is working for you the best, and I'll see you in the next one.